on sleep at some time or another, but making it a habit could have serious consequences for your brain.
And Sabrina Wilson explores the risks and how your nighttime activities also play a big role in her special report, Balance, Body, and Brain.
It's a sound many people would rather not hear, an hour of reckoning, depending on decisions made the night before.
Right now, probably about 6.5.
Do you ever go below 6?
Yeah, sometimes, sure. I got 2 little kids.
It's been said that sleep is overrated, but there's growing evidence that skipping on shut-eye does more than just zap energy.
And you will see a brain that is under pressure.
In July, researchers from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston released findings at the Alzheimer's Association conference, indicating that too little sleep causes brain aging. The researchers examined data from more than 15,000 participants in the Nurses' Health Study, focusing on the effects of sleep on cognition in midlife to later years. Cognition is defined as conscious mental activities, the activities of thinking, understanding, learning, and remembering. The study concluded that people who slept 5 hours or less per day had lower average cognition than those sleeping 7 hours.
That there are several components being activated in the brain, but ultimately the cortex, the cerebral cortex, is a site of learning, memory, organization of information.
Dr. Nicholas Bazan is director of the LSU Health Sciences Center's Neural Science Center. He says for decades, sleep was thought to be very passive, but no more.
Let's say that somebody do not get into the deep phases of sleep. Those processes are affected.
Okay, what are we going to do now with this lovely lady?
Dr. Morteza Shamsnia is a professor of neurology at Tulane School of Medicine.
We need an average, most of us, 95% of us, need 7.5 hours of sleep.
Should be done almost. Huh? You got a couple more now on your back, huh?
At the sleep center, he helps patients get to the bottom of sleep disorders.
Ready? Stay up, okay? And you have to get you to bed.
If you don't get the 7-8 hours, it's like a mortgage. It accumulates, and you have to pay down that debt.
Does the brain get, like, droopy, drowsy?
Yes, absolutely.
While some are quick to notice the red flags of reduced sleep,
6 hours, my head starts to go a little bit.
others ignore the hints.
Not easily remembering things, not easily learning, and inability to concentrate.
It affects the whole body's immune system.
But before you start shooting for 10 hours, there's also research which shows that we don't do our brain any favors by sleeping too long.
There are now studies even that if you sleep too much, it's not also good for you because it affects certain hormones, and those hormones are essential for our mental functions. You deplete them, and you will put yourself in a depression and other mental disorders.
The Brigham and Women's Hospital researchers concluded that people who slept 9 hours a day or longer also had lower cognition than those sleeping 7 hours, and that too little or too much sleep was cognitively equivalent to aging by 2 years. Further, they noted that extreme sleep durations and changes in sleep duration may contribute to early Alzheimer's changes in older adults. A study published by British researchers last year suggests even more aging of the brain. It tracked 5,400 participants, and researchers say their findings show that women and men who move toward the short and long ends of sleep distribution appear to be subject to accelerated cognitive aging, equivalent to a 3 to 8 year increase in age.
So is it possible to be 30 years old and your brain is 45?
Yes, it is. Depends on what kind of... we have about 80 sleep disorders.
This is the contemporary thinking. There could be perturbations or alterations in the brain. Absolutely.
But the mental deterioration doesn't happen overnight.
It goes on for months and years. That's what the problem is. One night it doesn't really have major effect.
Still, they say it's no excuse to shortchange sleep, regardless of your age.
All of these groups of cells in the brain that are interconnected, that need to be talking to each other in a harmonious way. Sleep allows that harmony.
The quality of sleep matters. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, there are 5 stages of sleep. Stage 1 is light sleep, while during stages 3 and 4, it's harder to wake someone from sleep. This imaging shows brain waves changing during sleep.
And there are some waves that appear, for example, in stage 3 and 4 of sleep, called the delta waves.
REM, or rapid eye movement, is a 5th and critical stage, accounting for about 25% of our total sleep, and it occurs several times during the normal sleep cycle.
REM sleep is important for cognition, for memory, for our mental functions. And non-REM is important for our physical.
Dreaming is one aspect that happens when we go into the deep stages of sleep, into REM, rapid eye movement condition.
Robbing ourselves of slumber time for social, school, or work obligations is something most of us do. But whether willingly or because of physical conditions like sleep apnea, chronic sleep deprivation can be a slippery slope.
I have seen other people who have brain damages from sleep-related disorders. There are a lot of studies now showing that people get even blood clots.
The thought of having a brain that's aging faster than the rest of the body grabs attention.
We don't want that.
We are abusing our brain and we are abusing, in a sense, our body, and ultimately we're going to pay the price.
And the currency may include having your brain age much faster than you'd like in a society where many people are living longer. I'm Sabrina Wilson, Fox 8 News.
Dr. Shamsnia says sex hormones also take a big hit when sleep is abbreviated. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke estimates that at least 40 million Americans suffer from chronic sleep disorders, and another 20 million have occasional sleeping problems, accounting for $16 billion in medical costs each year.
How much sleep do you get?
Not enough, like 6.
So your brain's really old
Yeah. See,
at this point.
I
I get the perfect amount.
You're right.